Hello everybody, my name is Sue Roberts. I'm a mental health nurse and I've got a grad dip in sexology amongst many other things. But today I'm going to talk to you about mentally healthy. Now why would I be talking about this? Because in the job that I'm in, people don't talk about it. People don't talk about it generally. And a lot of people appear mentally healthy, but they've got stuff inside that people don't talk about and don't know about. And we've all got this, and we still live in an era where we're still not talking about things like depression, OCD, eating disorders, bipolar, domestic violence, post-traumatic stress syndrome, childhood sexual abuse, which is a huge, massive issue that is covered up probably primarily by medication. So I want to break some of these myths. I want to talk to people who are brave enough to talk about their issue to make you, the listener, if you've got that happening within you, make you know that you're not alone. You're not alone, and there's other people that feel like you, and that you can talk about it, but only talk about it to people that you can trust. So, on that note, I would like to introduce my very beautiful, good-looking son, Tui.
Hello.
So, hello, darling.
Thank you for having me.
So, darling, tell us a little bit about your childhood.
I had a great childhood, I think. We had a great time. It was great memories, from like growing up in City Beach, nice areas and stuff. But I think there's a stigma sort of attached to growing up in those areas, especially like being Māori as well. If you tell people you're from City Beach, they just think you're a rich snob or whatever. But I think the sort of trauma that comes from where you fellas grew up in South Auckland, with the trauma that you guys had and whatever the situation was, no matter where you live in the world, no matter how nice it is, you're still going to have, affected people from trauma, right? And you can put that down as like a stereotype for Māori, but, we're not going to stay that, are we?
Right.
But that's probably the only thing that was, different for me and Kilo, like my cousin, our families in City Beach, than every other sort of white suburban kid, But as crazy as it was amazing. We wouldn't change my family for the world, with all the shit that comes with it. But it's just amazing how I've been thinking about it quite often, and how whatever happened to Pop, like our koro, whatever happened to him as a child was so immense and horrible that he sort of created this, four children with, severe sort of trauma. Not that it's his fault directly, but, no one really seems to think, I don't think really, no one really talks about Poppy, like what happened to Poppy. It's always sort of, he did this, he did that. He was, there was great sides of Poppy and bad sides as well. But obviously, I never saw the bad sides like you guys did.
Yeah, and there was a lot of good things about him as well. So, getting back to you, so did you think or did you feel any different when you went to primary school?
I mean, I've done a lot of reflection in like my late 20s, and I was always kicked out of the classroom, I was always out the front, distracting the kids or whatever it was. Never could pay attention. Very emotional. I think that especially with men, when we talk about being emotional, we automatically think about crying or it's soft or whatever it is. But to be honest, it's probably more. It takes a stronger man to cry and to be vulnerable like that. Not saying that I'm like a really strong guy mentally, but I think we've got to embrace that as it's a normal thing to be emotional. So, like I am, always have been emotional. Sort of going back to what we were saying about, so I met a friend of mine. It's probably known her for like 3 weeks now. I was talking to him about before. We were talking on the phone anyway, and she was asking me what I was doing this week, and I said I was going to go see Dr. B, our GP, our family GP, or me and Dad's anyway, about getting back on my mood stabilisers, because me and Mum had a conversation about me getting back on my medication, which I think is the right idea, right step to take anyway. And this person sort of laughed and said, like, I don't think you have bipolar, like it's sort of a fictitious thing you've made up in your mind just to make yourself feel better. And instantly I sort of got really angry because, like, I don't know who would want to brag about having bipolar or ADHD for that matter, because it's, until you live in those shoes, like with that brain, you don't understand how hard it is, how hard it can be, can be really hard. But yeah, she seems to think that people do use, I've got ADHD, like they'll Google symptoms and say like, I'm energetic, or I can't sit still for 5 minutes, I've got ADHD, but it's not that at all. It could be like, obsessing over one thought constantly. That's all you think about. You don't want to think about it, you don't want to be like that. But it's all, you sort of get trapped in like a cycle. It's just a one little small sort of insight into it.
Well, we have doctors on the ward that I work on who diagnose the majority of young people with ADHD.
So what do you think about that? Do you think that's...
I disagree.
You disagree, right?
I disagree.
Yeah.
And
I definitely agree with that, yeah.
So, anyway, we're not going to talk about ADHD. So getting back to you, so what's another episode that you can think of that people were judgmental with you about?
When I got diagnosed with depression, and it's quite young then, wasn't it? I was like 13 or 14.
Yeah.
I don't even know how that came about. I think me and you might have had a conversation.
I took you to the psychiatrist.
Yeah. I remember going to school the next day because I was in the X Factor class. And for anyone who doesn't know, that's for all the spastics and all the kids who came from broken homes, probably. We all got along together really well. A few of the boys have actually passed away. Walter's, rest in peace. Marty, rest in peace. My brother Marty Bollin. And Ricky as well, rest in peace, brother. Yeah, good times though. In that, what was the question again? Oh yeah, sorry. When I came to class late one day in the X Factor class, the boys were like, "Where you been?" And I'm the sort of the larrikin, one of the larrikins anyway, especially in that group of people. But I just told them, I was like, I was a psychiatrist. They're like, why? I was like, I got depression. I started laughing like, you don't have depression, which is understandable, like you could get upset about it when you think about it, but like people that are the most depressed are usually the ones who present the most happy, like Robin Williams, for example.
Yes.
A lot of people like that.
Yeah.
But even like people we've known, I mean, sort of like some of them probably you knew that they were depressed, but there's people that I knew that you wouldn't have thought in a million years would have done anything.
Well, Poppy had bipolar, obviously, and he had depressive episodes.
Yeah, but I think with these manic disorders, and the depression and stuff like that, not all the time, but some of those people are amazing people.
Absolutely.
Like yourself included, Uncle Pete, Poppy.
A lot of actors.
Uncle Brent, yeah.
There's a lot of actors.
Oh, yeah.
Very famous.
Yep.
And they've got bipolar.
That's right. So on one hand, you have someone extremely, so charismatic, doesn't have any sort of fear of anything at a certain point in it, but then on the other hand, is severely depressed. And so it's a blessing and a curse, really. It's just learning how to manage it, isn't it?
Yes, it is learning how to manage it. And good on you for going to Dr. B.
Yes.
And hopefully starting your
I have to talk to someone.
Medication.
I have to talk to someone, yes.
Yeah, it's really
important. I think talking to someone. Because I found like, even though we talk, I'm very open, with you and Dad. and a lot of people that I've talked to actually don't really agree with how open I am. But there's like, what's the point in keeping secrets?
I know, exactly.
You might as well be honest, especially when it pertains to mental health, because you know, if you don't know already, but like drugs definitely affect your mental health and can be severe.
Yeah.
You know, because drug-induced psychosis, which we've both seen firsthand. I've got friends, you know, even family members.
I see it men on a daily basis.
Yeah.
At work.
But it sort of gives a bad name to marijuana. I'd say I'm not singling out marijuana here because it is probably one of the worst, isn't it?
Predominantly.
Yeah. And your thoughts on marijuana, especially years ago when you didn't really know much about it, you probably, you know, the way you reacted when I come home stoned, you know, when I was about 14.
Yeah, I remember.
And, you know, because you were worried, you know, because you didn't understand, but I think you remember your experience that you had.
Yeah.
Because, like, you guys never did no drugs. You just sort of
I smoked, every time I smoked dope, it made me, I thought I was my sister, or I think I had the potential to have a drug-induced psychosis. That's 100%. Why I didn't, and people would give me cakes. Malt cakes. I didn't even know. And you were in the car.
Your cousin's birthday.
You're in the bloody car with me.
Who would have thought at a Māori birthday you'd have a marijuana cake?
Bloody hell. Yeah, I know. Surprise. I don't think. So no, I did, but I learned.
Yeah.
And I've learned.
Yeah.
And I've learned also by speaking to the young people that I work with, particularly around your sister. I don't understand it. Yeah. But I understand it, but it definitely plays a big part in the drug-induced psychoses.
100%. But I think that just comes down to educating people more.
Oh, look, honestly, really, do people really want to know about stuff like that? You know, honestly, I don't know. I think you've got, like, the psychologist that approached you.
Psychologist?
No, it was a psychologist.
Approached me about?
Like, saying that you didn't have bipolar. I mean, it's a psychologist.
Oh, no, there's a counsellor.
Okay, well, counsellor.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
No, sorry, you are right when you said that, because I hadn't tried to commit suicide. That was what was making me not bipolar.
Oh, my...
Because I never acted on it.
Oh, my God.
I never acted on it.
Okay.
But now, and I'm going to be honest, I'm not that I would act on it, but there's no more sort of uncertainty, because before, when they were asking me these questions, like, you know, have you ever thought about suicide? And of course, I'm sure, like, the majority of people would have, whether that be intentional or just, you know, for whatever sake. And then they asked, you know, have you ever acted on it? And I hadn't. You know, it never crossed my mind. And I still would vehemently to that. Well, not to this day, but back then, no way. I was, you know, strictly against it. But there's been times, and hear me out here, right? Don't get worried about it.
No, I'm not.
But there's been times which sort of cemented the fact that I've got bipolar, where I could just lose it and just go, you know, fuck it, and just do something crazy.
Yeah.
You know.
I understand that.
Yeah, I know, because you probably do the same thing.
Probably the audience understands that as well.
But yeah, and again, it's not a bad thing. It's nothing to worry about. I just think I'm learning more about myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As time goes on, but you have to look after your mental health. You have to stay on top of it. You can't. You know, for so many years I was sort of, I would say I was like not a step ahead, but I had a grasp on it. But then after so much of just getting, you know, shit on, it's just like, I'll fucking give up, you know. I sort of just killed over and just, you know, which is what I did. But like, I'm getting back up. But this time it's just different. But it's going back to, you have to stay on top of it.
It's medication, though.
It is, no, 100%.
It is medication.
It's so many things, man. So many things.
Well, no, that in particular, because just me working in mental health, the people that come in have either stopped taking the medication,
yeah, of course,
or have been smoking THC and amphetamines and have come in with the drug-induced psychosis.
Yeah.
So the medication, if you can get that right, like, it's a good thing. It's just like...
But I can see why people stop.
Yes.
You know,
yes,
like
absolutely.
I did. Like I did.
Yeah.
Like you as well, haven't you?
I don't take medication.
No, you did, didn't you? Didn't you?
No.
Oh.
Not that I'm aware
Well, maybe that was the Lyrica's.
Oh, the Lyrica from my back. No, I still take Lyrica. I did my back. Genuine excuse.
Little sister was like, Mum's really relaxed these days. I don't know what medications she's taking. And bloody Lyrica. If anyone doesn't know, put a horse down with one. Mum was taking, for her pain.
Yeah, I still got it.
And just chilled out, just like a normal person.
But I'm really normal though.
Exactly, man. That's why I didn't want to. That's why I stopped my medication, because I was just like a normal. I wasn't screaming and making random noises and pissing people off. I was just. And one of my friends, Mitch, you ever see this, bro? This is the first time you've ever heard this part. When Mitch seen me for the first time in like 6 months, he was like, "Man, what's wrong with you?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "You're so quiet and like boring," or something like that. He's like, "What the fuck's going on?" I was like, "Oh, I started taking medication," and then I was just like, I sort of knew it by then, because I was just like this all the time, and I'm fucking I enjoy that.
Yeah, but you can have medication that you can still be like.
Yeah, it's probably the
but without the extremes of.
Yeah. Probably shouldn't have been prescribed those either, to be honest.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's all a learning experience. This is a learning experience. This is a podcast.
They give all that.
We're learning.
When they code black.
No, we do.
Shoot 'em up.
Midazolam and droperidol in the bum.
Oh, sounds cool.
Yeah. Anyway, on that note, we will end episode 1 of being mentally healthy. I'd just like to say good night and thank you for my lovely flowers.
Yes.
Good night.
Craving it, and you'll be wanting me around.